Kindness. We see it all around us. We see it when someone pays for someone else's coffee or holds the door open for another person. We see it in the smallest of gestures, like a smile or a kind word. But it's different when we turn on the news or social media. Oftentimes, what we hear about, what outlets are pushing, is the opposite of kind. Welcome to the Kindness Matters podcast. Our goal is to give you a place to relax, to revel in stories of people who have received or given kindness, a place to inspire and motivate each and every one of us to practice kindness every day. Hello and welcome to the Kindness Matters podcast. I am your host, Mike Rathbun. And when you're involved in kindness, when you're actively seeking it out and looking for it and talking to people who are involved with kindness and random acts and that sort of thing, it's funny how you find things. You find more kindness. I had just recorded an episode with Lori Olson, also known as the Epic Chalk Lady. And I noticed on her Facebook page where she had posted to a group called the Anoka Kindness Rock Garden. And I was like, I wonder what that's all about. And the more I looked, the more I liked. And that is when I found my two guests that I have today, Missy Merschman. Is that correct, Missy?
Yeah. Yep.
And Stacy Burnham, right?
Yep.
Ah, yay for me, gold star.
Yay.
And now, Missy, was it you that started the rock garden?
It was. I did with a couple other friends and some other kids. Yes.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to start this? Really, and I gotta say it's an absolutely amazing space, and you just feel the warmth and the love there. What inspired you to start this?
Well, I had already been kind of painting rocks and leaving them around for a while, and I had seen another group on the East Coast that had started this garden, and I thought that'd be such a cool thing to do, and it was just in the back of my mind. And then I don't exactly remember what the moment was, but I thought, this would be something great to honor people. And my first thought was my friend Stacy's daughter, Nicole. So that was the first thing, my thought was to honor Nicole. Nicole had passed away, and it was one of the saddest and hardest things. I think it hit me really hard. And I don't know how Stacy knows what she knows about that for me, but also to watch my friend go through this hard thing. So I thought it would be a great thing to, in her honor, kind of start. Not as a memorial. We don't really call it a memorial.
I was just going to say that. Was it like a memorial?
Yep. No, it's just in her honor is what I say. So kind of, with her in mind. It did, once in a while it takes a turn and turns into a memorial certain days of the year. But it also is that for a lot of people every day. Yeah.
Okay.
So I rallied up a couple friends. We got a whole bunch of rocks painted, and I said, Stacy, meet us at the park at dark, because I was honestly a little worried the police would tell us to leave and take all our stuff with us. So it was kind of under the cover of just when the sun was setting, and we met there and we showed her, and then here we are.
And Stacy, you had no idea this was coming.
No, not at all. Missy my daughter Nicole died. It was January 26th of 2018. And on the 26th of each month, Missy would send me a picture of something she would leave in Nicole's memory around, but I didn't put, it was on the 26th of July that she had, messaged me to come meet her at the park, but I didn't put the two and two together. No. So it was a complete surprise.
That's awesome. And so you get there and you see all these painted rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was Missy and a couple friends, yep, and they were painted rocks. And at the time, it did kind of start as a memorial. There were some signs and stuff, and I think I was just speechless, that is always my biggest fear, is that I will be the only person that, in the end remembers Nicole, and to know that other people did remember her and, the significance of that day. It was heartwarming.
And the placement was that on accident? Because it was near the Veterans Memorial, and Nicole was a veteran, correct?
Correct. I don't know why Missy picked it. She might have. You'd have to ask Missy that, why she picked that.
Was it an accident or was that purposeful?
It was purposeful. Part of the 26th of every month was that location. I tried to, use that as kind of home base for my little, I would leave something in that area. So it and after I look back at this, I think we've come in contact with a lot of people who are veterans or in active duty. And when I'm at the Rock Garden, they come to that park, to that Veterans Memorial. But now we find that they come back again because of the garden. So it was sort of purposeful, but not. And there was that, fine line of, I didn't want it to be on the memorial site. It was not in the actual footprint of the Veterans Memorial. It was next to it.
Right.
So I didn't want to be completely, I
want to take away from
that. Exactly.
Sure. But then the Rock Garden now I've got it confused in my head and I apologize. Did it outgrow that space, or were you asked to leave that space?
Yes and yes. We had, believe it or not, there are people who maybe don't like kindness for some reason or other. So there were some people in the community who felt that it was, vandalism. Vandalism is the word that they
really
use. Yes. And so over the time it would disappear. And there were some times when we would say, we're just done. This is a lot of work. And if people are going to just keep taking it away or pushing the big thing, throwing them in the river, that kind of thing, we're just done. And then I would say, no, we are going to, every time this happens, we are going to fix it. So it would be vandalized often.
Oh.
And my phone would just blow up, whatever, because people would be walking by and they would message me and say, everything's in the river, or something's gone, or it's been painted over with black. And so our community, they felt such ownership to it. We couldn't say no. So then, the city finally came to us and said, here's what we would like to do. We would like to offer you an actual permanent location in the park. We'll let you help us figure out where to put it. And that will become then city property and under the, care and watch of the city along with us. So they were so gracious, and we walked around the area and chose the new location where we have the really nice, beautiful backdrop for our murals to be painted on. And it
looks like it's part of the city. It looks like it belongs there.
Yes.
Because it started with a pile of rocks,
Yes.
And then we wanted to keep it neat. So we brought a shelf. And after that, it was like, we put landscape bullets, and pretty soon we had wood chips. And we were always mindful that, they had to mow around it. And we kind of always knew that there was probably going to come a day that we would get that, that the city may say, like, we have to, this is not working out. Yeah, this is not working out. That would be a good. And they didn't. I mean, well, I don't want to say they kicked us out of that spot. They just offered us a better spot.
Yes, true. Like I keep telling, when I talk about this to people, the city has been so good that every time I get a call or we get an email or a message, it's always, I'm sorry, you're going to have to do this. And then there's always, but, and then the next thing is always a better thing.
They apologize, but then they offer a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of that one door closes, but they open another one right away.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wow. So for my listeners who are not familiar, this is in the city of Anoka. I don't know that we established that. And it is right behind City Hall, right? You go down some steps towards
Yes.
the Rum River. And
Yes, it is the back side of the building.
cool. And it's, again, it's an absolutely lovely space. You've got the river right there. And then there's a walkway that goes under, is that Main Street?
Yes,
There's
the
a tunnel.
the walking tunnel, the pedestrian tunnel that goes under Main Street is right next to us. So what's really, really a great thing that's happening this summer is we have murals, the artists that have painted murals on our wall. Well, now the Rum River Art Center and the city of Anoka are working together with artists from our community to repaint the murals inside the tunnel. So it's been a really cool flow and connection. It's almost like our two projects are coming together, and it's one big, long, beautiful spot.
I've been down there a couple times, and every time I go down, the mural seems to be growing. I was down there a couple weekends ago, and there was a gentleman working on an eagle. And I mean, I don't know if I can do it justice just talking about it, but is there a theme to the mural? I mean, I noticed some Halloween stuff in there, and for those of you who don't know, Anoka, Minnesota is the Halloween capital of the world.
Well, the tunnel mural project is separate from us.
Right.
I mean, one of the artists is painting in both. We have an artist, her name is Bonnie. We just joined the Rock Garden. She came to our rock painting events. And then when we got our new beautiful space, we divided it into 4 sections. We posted out to our Facebook community and said, hey, we have this space. If any of you want to paint on it, please submit us a design and we'll pick 4 of you and paint the mural. Well, Bonnie was one of the people who submitted a drawing and plan, and her work is on the wall right at the Rock Garden. Well, she's also painting a large chunk inside the tunnel project. So what I know about the tunnel project is each artist has their idea. They're supposed to have, Anoka in mind and their picture of Anoka. So whatever that means, nature, Halloween, like anything Anoka. That's kind of how their chunk is. Well, Bonnie also, she's just a great woman. Like, we are very lucky to have her talent and ability and her heart in our group. We also had this other section that hadn't been painted, and she's down there every day painting inside the tunnel. And we just kept saying, whenever you're done, we want to work on this side too, whenever. Well, then all of a sudden she just, boom, started doing it. So she works on both projects. So our section is kindness. What does that mean to you? What does that mean? And the artists each kind of came up with their idea. And now the latest portion that Bonnie's been working on is leading into the tunnel. Leads into the tunnel. And again, it's kind of kindness, but once she started painting, there's kind of a bigger message about, we have a tornado on there and like kind of a storm. The storm brings bad things, but then the rain goes away and there's a rainbow and the sun, and there's a picture of seeds that start small and grow into this big, beautiful sunflower and poppy, So I can't tell you what exactly the message is. You have to look at it and see what you think. But I mean, that's kind of a nutshell.
That's a fun thing.
We kind of got together, and like the rainbow part of it was, it's kind of the bottom part of it is pumpkin, and that is the nod to Anoka. Right. The middle part of the rainbow is poppies, and that was kind of our nod to veterans. And then the top part of it was the sunflowers, kind of, that was kind of our nod to Nicole, and, to our, we just like the sunflowers. Kindness. And and it's meant to be an interactive mural. So there's tornado with, these storm clouds, and there's some umbrellas. So, it's meant to, you stand there and it looks kind of like you're holding an umbrella, or, stand in there. A bench will be put there where it'll look like you're kind of sitting in front of these sunflowers in a sunflower field. So
that's so cool. And you touched on this briefly, Missy. I think part of kindness is bringing together a community, and as part of your group, you have rock painting. Is it every week on Tuesday, I want to say?
We do have that. Another one of the things that was happened with the city was we were using the community room in the city hall, and they said to us, "We're sorry, you won't be able to use that space anymore." But and here we are in our space actually right now. They graciously are letting us use the Warming House building at Rick Sorensen Park in Anoka.
Okay.
So we have all of our stuff set up here for rock painting, and all summer long on Tuesday nights, we have from 5 to 7 rock painting. Now, today is actually the last day for that. So today, August 15th, is the last Tuesday night because of school starting. August 22nd will be actually at the Cookout with the Cops event. Then after that, September 10th, we start on weekends. And it's September 10th is the first weekend from noon to 4 at Rick Sorensen Park. And it's open for anyone. You just show up. You don't have to bring anything. It's open to the community. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So
that's okay.
So what's the atmosphere there when you have one of your rock painting events? I mean, is it just everybody laughing? Is it friendship? Is it?
It's all of the above, but there's also, some serious, kind of a little more serious. I mean, we kind of have there's a kind of a special place in our heart, about mental health and mental health awareness. Nicole did die by suicide. So, in talking about that and putting that out there, that's a hard thing to talk about. And I'll admit that's a hard thing to admit that my daughter, took her life. That's heavy. But sometimes you have to have those heavy conversations, and those heavy conversations have really led in to some really great things. And, as some people come to that and they kind of hear that conversation, then sometimes they just open up and tell us about an experience. But it really is about more than just rock painting.
It really is.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, that part of it is just, I think, you get the people here and you get them comfortable in a relaxed atmosphere, and sometimes those conversations just flow.
Yeah, for sure.
And we always say that, all of us have something, in our lives, and it ends up being where one person might make a comment, and then the person next to him that they didn't even know said, "Wow, me too." And then they start talking, and then, people make friendships here, and they come back again to see that other person and then just talk more. It has turned into that. And that's what we want. We want people to be able to come here. We have a resource board. If people have, if they need stuff, anything from our community, we have a big resource board.
We're certainly not, mental health professionals,
No.
but, we have some life experience.
Exactly.
And sometimes just that peer mentorship is
For sure.
as good as a therapist.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can always find. It's funny when you create a space that's inviting and warm and safe. It's amazing what kind of conversations you can have, isn't it?
It is. It is.
I should say that suicide was not necessarily just a result of a mental health issue,
Right.
Correct? It was
Correct.
It was sparked by sexual assault.
It was. She was sexually assaulted 2 times that we know of in the military that she reported.
And she reported it and nothing happened?
She was in Korea at the time, and she, asked for an expedited victims transfer, and it was granted, but it took them 82 days to get her off of that base. And in those 82 days, she lived in the same barracks as her assailants. And she was just the subject of a lot of bullying and torment. And that really sparked her mental health crisis. It was, it was a pretty short-lived, her mental health struggles. There was, she was a very, all through high school, growing up, she was very outgoing and fun-loving. I didn't know of any struggles then. And like I said, when she came back from Korea, when she came home, she got to come home for 2 weeks, and there was a big difference. She had lost weight and her hair was thinning. And even at home, when she asked for a lock on her bedroom door, and she put her dresser in front of her door at night.
Oh my God.
I was like, Nicole, you're at home. And she says, but you don't understand. And I didn't, I let her talk as much or little about it. I didn't obviously know the depths of it. But yeah.
Wow. I find oftentimes that when there's a tragedy, that it can spark something positive.
Mm-hmm.
And as hurtful and as horrific as that was, I'm not sure that we would have the Anoka Kindness Rock Garden without that.
Yeah, we might not.
I mean, we might, but something bright and beautiful came out of that horrible, dark time.
Right. Those that know kind of know that this is kind of her legacy. And those that don't, that's fine. It's I'm always open to sharing, but like I said, I just don't openly talk about it like at a rock painting. I try to be really mindful of my audience.
Sure. So now, as most of us know, Anoka, the city of Anoka, is the Halloween capital of the world. I think we should. How does one get to be the kindness capital? And I'd settle for Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right now.
That's right. That's part of our dream. That is part of our dream.
If any of my listeners know how we make that happen, I don't know. We need to probably go ahead.
I think that we should invite them all to our rock painting, all of your listeners, to show up, and we have a big meeting about it.
Ooh,
if we're all
I
at
like
home,
that.
If we're all at home sitting thinking this is what we should do, this is what I keep thinking. We all want that, and we all think, how is this going to happen? If we all are in one room, I feel like we could make it happen.
There's your call to action, listeners. I will include. Now, do you guys have you don't have a website, you just have the Facebook page, right?
No, we do have a website. We're just
you do?
working. It's up. We just are just starting to try to keep it updated. It's just pretty much Missy and I doing a lot of the social media stuff. So the website is like the last thing that always gets updated, but we do have it, and it's www.anokakindnessrockgarden.com.
That's a mouthful.
Word. Yeah,
it is.
I think we need to contact the Guinness Book of World Records and get a whole bunch of kindness rocks and have them come. Maybe we could break some records.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Sammy the Snake real quick.
Let's do it.
Are you guys?
Oh, our snake, our rock snake. Well, all over social
Sammy?
media, people were posting. It's Daisy.
Ours is Daisy.
Daisy.
Oh, Daisy.
People were posting all these rock snakes, and Daisy is her name. Yeah. So people were then, of course, messaging us through our social media and that about, we need a rock snake. And so we're like, okay, let's have a rock snake. And so poor Daisy lost her head. She lost her mind a few times. But the one beautiful thing about that was, like, as Stacy mentioned, it's kind of, it's just the two of us really driving the bus. But right behind us, we have, a core group of volunteers that work really hard and do a ton of stuff. But I don't work in the summer being a teacher. Stacy works overnight. So during the day, we have more time in our lives to run by the rock garden and check it. Well, the community has been taking care of Daisy. If someone took her head away boom, somebody would just show up with another head. We didn't even have to worry about it. So she's grown. I don't really know how many rocks, over 100. And she's very cute. And during the summer, or during the winter, excuse me, we'll put her up on a kind of a ledge that's near there, so they can, plow the snow and those kinds of things all winter long. But our community they were excited about and said, hey, we need to do this. So we just do it.
Yeah, the community is really and truly amazing. Those that would deface your rock garden, notwithstanding, the majority of the community is absolutely amazing. And I see so much lightness and fellowship and all of these other things whenever I go to your Facebook page. So I'll have a link to the website and a link to your Facebook page in the show notes, so that anybody who wants to reach out can do that. And we really need to make this happen. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Let's have a meeting. Now you'll find our dates for our rock painting and just everybody come.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Missy and Stacy, thank you so much for agreeing to come on here. I know it was hard, Stacy and Missy, to talk about some of the ugly stuff, but again, out of that ugly came something absolutely fantastic and wonderful and light, and I really thank you guys for that and for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, we'll be in touch soon.
Okay,
sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that will do it for this episode of the Kindness Matters podcast. It was so amazing to have Missy Merschman and Stacy Burnham on the episode. I have so much respect for these women and what they're doing and what they're trying to accomplish, and frankly, I think probably succeeding in accomplishing. I wanted to share, though, there's a big rock in the rock garden, and the rock says, take one for inspiration, share one for motivation, and leave one for growing the garden. And I think that's amazing. And you know who else is amazing? You guys, for showing up and listening to this podcast every single week. And I appreciate you, and I love you for that. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. But in the meantime, be that person who roots for others, who tells a stranger they look amazing, and encourages others to believe in themselves and their dreams. You've been listening to the Kindness Matters podcast. I am your host, Mike Rathbun. Have a fantastic week.